The divorce papers were on the kitchen table by the time he came home in December. He looked at them. He looked at me. He said one sentence. He said, "You waited." Mark and I had been married for 14 years. We had been not in love for at least 5 of them by my count, longer by his. We had 2 children, a son in middle school, a daughter in elementary, and we had been parents in the same house and partners in nothing else. Separate bedrooms by 2021. Separate vacations by 2022. We were polite. We were civil. We were what the children needed us to look like. Mark's father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in April of 2022. Stage III. The prognosis was 18 to 24 months. Mark's father was a private equity partner. The family wealth was significant. Mark was an only child. Mark and I had drafted a separation outline in February of 2022, 2 months before the diagnosis. It was on a piece of paper in a drawer in our bedroom. We had agreed on custody. We had agreed on the house. We had agreed on the rough finances. We had not signed anything. We had agreed to revisit in the fall. The fall did not happen. April happened first. The diagnosis happened first. Mark put the separation conversation aside because his father was dying. I let him. I also did the math. Mark's portion of his father's estate was going to be, by the back-of-envelope math I did in May of 2022, in our bathroom at 1 in the morning, on a yellow pad, somewhere between 4 and 6 million. In a divorce after the inheritance, in the state we live in, half of that would be marital property. In a divorce before the inheritance, none of it would. I did not say any of this out loud. I did not need to. Mark and I were already past the point where words mattered. He came home from his father's chemotherapy appointments. I held him sometimes. We did the school pickup. We attended the kids' things. We slept in our separate bedrooms. Mark's father died in March of 2024. The funeral was small. Mark cried for 3 days. I cried at the funeral because I had genuinely loved his father, who had been kinder to me than my own father had been. The estate took 6 months to close. The bulk of it transferred to Mark in September. I waited 8 more weeks. I waited until the assets had been settled into joint titling. I waited until the new investment accounts had been opened. I waited until the new properties had been retitled. I had a lawyer ready in November. I had the filing papers drafted by the first week of December. Mark came home from a work trip on a Thursday in mid-December. The papers were on the kitchen table. He read them standing up. He looked at me across the kitchen. He said exact words, "You waited." I did not deny it. I said the marriage had been over for years. I said the timing was practical. I said we had both known this was coming. I said all the sentences I had rehearsed. He did not yell. He did not throw anything. He sat down at the table and he cried in a way I had not seen him cry, not at his father's funeral, not at any moment in our marriage. He cried because he had spent the last 2 years of his father's life believing that I was, despite everything, on his side. And the calendar I had built for myself revealed that I had been on a different calendar than the one he had been living. The kids found out 2 weeks later. They are not stupid. They did the math. My son, who is 12, asked me in his bedroom, quote, "Did you stay for Grandpa's money?" I told him it wasn't that simple. He told me to leave his room. He has not called me mom since. The divorce was finalized in March. I got half. I sold the house I never wanted. My son still doesn't call me mom. My daughter calls me mom because she is 8. Mark's mother won't sit at the same Thanksgiving table as me. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments.